So it pains me to say that I've unfortunately decided to let go of something in my kit that I've really enjoyed and created lots of memories with. But it has already been replaced and it technically doesn't get used anymore, and it's just been sitting there collecting dust, so someone else needs to enjoy it. And that lens is the Sigma 135mm f1.8. If you're a fellow photographer or content creator, then you'd know how attached we can get to our gear. And that attachment usually comes back to the memories that we create with it, or even, one of the reasons behind the purchase of it being that we thought that we would unlock some sort of potential behind it. But sometimes things don't work out and that piece of gear does not get the love that it deserves. And letting go of it often feels more personal than it really should. Now, if you're new here, my name is Julio and I'm known as Shifting Focus. I'm a photographer and videographer / content creator from Melbourne, Victoria in Australia. And I've been doing this for the last 2.5 years. I've primarily been on Instagram, but I've just started my YouTube journey and I'm excited to see where this goes. So if you want to be a part of my journey, just hit that subscribe and follow along. So today, I'd like to invite you on the journey of its last adventure. Now, I've had the idea of doing something like this for quite a while now, and I've gotten rid of other lenses before in my kit, and I always regretted not making a video like this, but unfortunately, I had a bit of anxiety about creating something like this in general and just putting myself out there. But if you never face the uncomfortable truth of just getting out there and doing it, then it'll never get done. So here I am, and I'm going to take it out for some street photography, which I haven't done in a very long time now, but it is exactly how I started out my photography journey, and I'd love to take this out and just experience that one last time with it. And secondly, because I am primarily an automotive photographer, I'm going to take it out to take photos of my car. But I know that it is 135mm and it's a telephoto lens, so it is going to be a bit tricky to try and take photos of my car on a fixed focal length size like this. But I'm just gonna have fun with it and see what I can cook up. But first, I'm absolutely starving. We've had a long day at work and my wife wants to join me on this little adventure. So she's gonna come along and do some recording of it as well for me. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this. Just waiting. So that's a chunky boy, man. He's so fat, man. He's so fucking fat. I love it. Thank you so much.
Tastes so good, make you want to slap your mama.
I almost bit the cardboard again. Alright, so we just finished eating, but we're just going to get straight into the photography side of it. I'm just going to get my stuff geared up. So the gear that I'm using right now will be the A7 IV, and I've got the 135 Sigma, like I said before, and I've got an everyday filter, which is a circular polarizer and a quarter strength mist. Really excited to use this one with the 135. I haven't used it just yet on this one, but I've been using it on my 35mm and also on my 70-200, and it's been really awesome, producing some awesome results. So I'm just keen to see what it does with street photography. And so let's get right into it, and we'll just switch over now to some point of view content for you guys. So it was a bit quiet where we were before, so just moved over into a more central part of the city. I'm just gonna grab some shots from around here. It's a lot more busier just outside of this shopping center here. But before I get started, I just wanted to go through some of the things that I like to do for street photography. And that's just having some settings actually just locked in. And what I generally do is I have my drive mode on continuous shooting on high mode. So then that way I don't get to miss anything
and I just shoot as quickly as possible, just as an example there. Then I also like to have my autofocus on continuous mode, and my focus area, I like to have it in spot medium. Sometimes I like to have it in spot large, just depends on what it is exactly that I'm shooting. And the thing that I really like about street photography is just that you just capture whatever it is that catches your eye. It's all dependent on the photographer, so it's very individual. It's just fun because you get to see a lot of like the little nuances of what people do and the little habits that they have that they don't realize, but you can pick up on them. It's just interesting stuff. On top of that, it's a bit of car spotting because the city's always full of cars. Just go up Chinatown and see what there is, what's going on, anyone interesting. This guy's just doing his job. This looks like an interesting spot with some cool lighting. Mate, this guy's on another planet. I think there's a couple of rules when you're doing street photography in general, at least for me. I don't take photos of the homeless people. They're already in a tough situation. And a lot of them don't want to be put in the spotlight, so I think it's just quite unfair to be able to do that. Take a photo of them without their consent. And taking photos of kids, I think that's just a big no-no. That's pretty self-explanatory. But other than that, pretty much everything else is fair game. And a lot of people are pretty happy to just get their photo taken. They smile back, they engage with you. It's really cool. But I'm with the 135mm, so trying to find what I can actually capture at a fair distance away because it's a telephoto lens and it's a bit hard. I've seen so many things that I want to take photos of, but I just can't because it's not wide enough. So just keep walking and just keep taking photos as you go along. Wouldn't be complete without a photo of a tram. A bar 500. Just gonna wait and see if I can get this right. The lighting looks sick though. Fuck yeah. It's a cool looking group. Look like they just had a good day of shopping.
To go sneak a photo then.
Terrible habit of taking photos vertically because of fucking Instagram. We should be taking them horizontally. This is cool actually. Look at all that. Oof. Jesus.
Hi. Yeah, no, it's okay.
It's pretty fucking windy, eh?
I feel the cold in my teeth. And then I...
Oh, did I get him in focus? I did. Just one? No. Mate, calm down, bro. This looks like a cool shot. These three guys, I'll just wait till they get maybe a little bit more under the street light. The ISO up. Well, the city was a bit weird tonight. Nothing interesting going on, so I guess it just wasn't just a great night. Wasn't meant to be tonight. I'm happy with the shots that I did get, that's for sure. But I just wish I was able to get some more and have some fun with the 135 before I let it go. So I don't often take my car out, and it's been sitting in the garage for like the last 3 weeks. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take it to a car wash and get it all cleaned up so I can take some photos and just see how we go.
Feel it, rage, power, weakest, fall,
So I'm out at location now, and I realized why the city was actually so quiet. It's because there's predicted to be fucking storms. Fair enough. So, gonna try and grab some photos. If not, I'm gonna have to come back another day because it is windy as hell. I'm not sure if you can even hear me properly, but I'm copping dust to the face. I'm just gonna grab my shit out and get started. So I've got my A74 and I'll set everything else up. Make sure I got my keys and lock myself out. There's so much rubbish. And I'm scared that's gonna fly off. I've just turned the camera off just for a little bit just because I had a conversation with Jess real quick. I'm not sure if you can hear, but there's sounds going off everywhere. There's shit flying around. And we had a look and it looks like there's going to be storms coming. And it's probably one of the worst that it's been in a few years. So rather than put us both in danger, we're just going to head home and I'll come back out another day, either tomorrow if everything is okay. So it might be a different location, I might still be here. It's a bit creepy when it's fucking windy, I'll tell you that. But we'll see how we go. And yeah, I'll catch you very soon at the next location or another day.
Victorians have been warned to
More than 100,000 properties in Victoria have been left.
Good evening. Melbourne has been hit hard by
damage and destruction across Victoria.
So yeah, I can't believe how crazy that night was, man. The wind was just so bad. But that night, the house just felt like it was just going to be picked up and just thrown away. It was so fucking crazy. Anyway, it's a new day. So gonna go out and go take some automotive photos with the 135mm. And I'm just excited because we're gonna go to a different location. Also, I just wanted to mention that the first part of this video, which was the street photography, was actually just all recorded on my DJI Action 4. But the second part of it, which is the automotive side, I wanted to experiment a little bit. And I've got an A7 III, which is my B cam, and I rarely use it now, but I haven't ever used it as a videography camera. And I just thought I'd give it a go, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So we're going to do that again tonight, and it'll be better lighting. So it should look a lot better, but we'll see how we go. And yeah, I'd love to hear your feedback. So just drop a comment below and let me know how you like it.
So I've come out to a different location because the weather's better, so I'm not going to get belted by the wind. And I guess the only thing that I have to sort of overcome here are the fucking seagulls, because they're just loud as hell and they just keep flying and swooping actually, which is weird. I've never seen them swoop. Bro, what the fuck? Yeah, I'm just going to try not to get shit on. We've got more lighting here than I could probably have hoped for, but I don't have my tripod on me because I generally don't like to use a tripod unless I really, really have to. And this is a 1.8 lens, but the only thing is that this lens is freaking heavy. So I'm going to be probably still swaying even without the crazy wind from the other night. I'll do my best, as I said, and hopefully you guys enjoy the shots just as much as I do. So one of the things that I like to do when I'm taking photos at night is actually use the viewfinder. And the reason why I use the viewfinder is because it actually creates a bit more of stability. So I can actually stance myself out a little bit more and then hold the lens a little bit more firmer, and I'll have less of a shake. My hands aren't as steady as they used to be once upon a time. So I'm just gonna make sure I don't go too low in regards to the shutter speed. Otherwise, I'm gonna get real shaky. And always try to actually check your photo, because if you don't and you assume that it's in focus, when you go back home and you double check, you're gonna be screwed. I'll actually just stop for a second and I'll quickly go through some of the settings that I like to use as a given pretty much for when I do night photography. So for night, I want to use a low shutter speed generally. And again, in order for me to have at least one photo in focus, I'll actually be doing a continuous shooting mode and I'll use that on high. I always ensure that my focus mode is on continuous autofocus and my focus area is generally either on a focus area of spots in medium or small. When you're doing detail shots, it's really important to be able to move where you want your focus, because then you can actually get that detail in a very crisp manner. And if you're using something with a low aperture, like an f1.8, 1.4, or whatever else that there is, then you'll get that in focus. The rest of that will just be out of focus because of the depth of field. The other thing that I really recommend is, because lighting conditions vary so much, you want to make sure that you've got the white balance set to one specific thing. I generally like to use either daylight or cloudy. I feel like they have the most uniform kind of color temperature, and it's consistent enough for me to be able to go ahead and edit the entire set without having to worry about color shifts. And if I do one temperature change in one specific photo, I'll know that that temperature change will apply to every other one. And another tip that I have for you in regards to low light shooting, if you're not 100% sure what your camera can do, then I highly recommend that you just grab any car that you can, whether it's your friends, yours, your parents, whatever. Just go and grab it, go to somewhere that has some okay lighting, and then just do some tests in regards to how high of an ISO that you can shoot, how low of a shutter speed that you can handle. And that also plays into, how low of an aperture that you can actually use on your camera. You might have a kit lens that will only go down to, f3.5 or, something that's like f5, but you work with what you've got. And if you can't get any lower and you feel like you're too shaky, then that's probably the point in time where you'll want to actually invest in a tripod. I'm going to try and just take some detail shots now. And we've got some nice lights from this building specifically that are facing the car. But you just got to also make sure that when you're in an environment like this, that your casting shadows, which you can see on the ground here, is not impacting the actual car itself, because then you're just going to have more work in regards to your editing. So try and stay away from having a light that's actually hitting the direction of the car, because it's just one more thing that you just need to do. And why make life more complicated, right? Try and get a nice detail of the front quarter there. I got to make sure I get in the right angle as well, because the wheel's slightly turned for that shot that I just did just before. Yeah, I like that shot. Okay, see if I can do the rear side. It's always best to just try and do different angles, but make sure that you move around. So I've just moved over to the bin, and the only reason is because this is one of the other tips that I use for low light shooting. If you can find something that's stable enough, then try and shoot off that. I'm going to be leaning off this, and it's not as straight as I wish it would be, but that's okay. The other thing that I think is a good tip, which I'm not sure if you use, but if you don't, you definitely should, is the rule of thirds. So if you're not 100% familiar, it's pretty much just the screen that you have divided by 3 rows and 3 columns. And the reason why you want to do that is because it will help you with framing. So I pretty much always have the rule of thirds displayed on my camera, just because it's just a little bit of extra sanity. If you're just struggling in regards to finding the correct angle or how to frame a subject perfectly, this will help you a lot. And it will actually give you the ability to just think outside the box and just, take a shot a little bit different. You don't have to follow the rule of thirds all the time. You just use it as a safety net. So I'm just making sure that I've got the car right in the middle, and I'm using my focal point just to make sure that I've got the front quarter of the car there as my focal point. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. 1/20, spray and pray. So I think I'm actually going to take a photo from this angle, but I need to move the wheel. So I'm just going to go change the direction that it's facing, and I'll make sure that it goes right. So then when I'm shooting from back there, I'm going to make sure that I get the wheel and I don't get the actual tire, because the tire is just a shit shot. If you're ever shooting with this lens, I hope you got your step counter on, because fuck me. You'll be fucking walking for a while. All right. I like that shot. I'm going to move a little bit closer. You can walk too far. And I'm just going to go a little bit lower. I think that's going to edit out real nice. Now I'm just going to flip the car around. And then after that, I think I'm just going to put the car right in the middle here. So I've flipped it around and I've got the lights on. I just want to make sure that I can get, a nice little shot with the rear facing me. Nice. I'm gonna be a bit safe and just pull my hood up. So, fuck that. Oh, that actually looks real good, man. I'm just gonna try and get a rear shot of the car, just directly from behind. Yeah. So I've moved the car down the middle now, like I said I would, and I've got a lot more room to play with, at least over here. I'm just gonna do what I can in this situation and just enjoy what I can, because it probably is the last time that I'm going to use this lens. And I'm really happy just to be out and just to be taking photos, because I haven't done that in maybe nearly a month now. And I'm just excited to just take some more photos at the moment. Oh, I'm pretty fucking cold, so I'm just gonna go grab my jacket from the car and yeah, wear my Melbourne attire. Yeah, so I just put my jacket on, but are you really a Melburnian without a Kathmandu? I'm really enjoying the quarter mist that this filter applies. It's just a nice little bloom that gets applied around the light. Oh man, this looks so good. I'm actually gonna try and use these little bushes that are at the front. Oh shit, that looks good. So I've just taken a few more shots and I'm happy with what I got, but it is late, very late now, and my wife and I are both tired. It's very cold, as you can tell with the Kathmandu here, but honestly, I've just had a great time out of the combination of both days, just being able to do this and giving you guys a little bit of an experience coming with me and taking these shots. They may not have been fantastic shots, and I could have done probably better in different things, but I really enjoyed just doing this in general, and yeah, I hope you guys did too. Thanks for joining me. Peace.